What's going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel for yet another rebuild challenge. And today we're in England. We start the season on minus points. We are, of course, starting with Derby County. Obviously, they have some points deductions in real life. Luckily, in FM, it's not as severe, and I'll explain why. Let's dive in and look at the table. So, guys, kicking things off, we are going to be Derby County manager. Now, the objective initially is to save them from relegation season 1. I'd love to get them back into the Premier League and being self-sustainable and being comfortable in the Premier League. Ultimately, that is my goal. That is what we are trying to do. As you can see, though, from the table on screen, I need to move my head. Fingers crossed I remember in the edit. That Derby County are on minus 12 points. Now, obviously, I know in real life, Derby have been deducted, I believe it's 21 points now, for going into administration and that sort of thing, and being financially unviable, effectively. Wayne Rooney's the manager. Not here. So Derby only start on minus 12 in the current iteration of the database released from SI. I'm not going to download a custom database to put them on even more points deduction. I personally don't see the point. So we are starting with Derby on minus 12. Now, this is going to be a very big challenge because not only do we not have any money, I can't sign anybody, but anybody who offers anything for any one of my players, they leave. So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to unpack, and we start the season on minus 12. According to the season preview, guys, let's have a little look. We are 350 to 1 to win the league. We're not going to win the league. It's just not going to happen. So what we're going to have to try and do is initially avoid relegation. That's all I need to do season number 1, is avoid relegation. Hope that there are 3 worse teams in this division, which I think there could be. As I mentioned, though, transfers wise, ins and outs, all of these were done obviously prior to me. I've not done any of these, you know, Ravel Morrison, Sam Baldock, Phil Jagielka at 36, 38. Oh, sorry, Phil, you're older than I thought, mate. Sorry, I tried to do you a favor there. Then, if you've watched any of the rebuilds before, you know these aren't my type of players, guys. So yeah, we've got those. And then obviously on the outgoings, let me flip this up to the date. As you can see here, loads of these players that are coming in and out on loan or transfers, like Bobby Duncan, he's gone off to AC Milan. I have no say in the matter. They just leave. Because all the bids for any player or getting anybody off the wage budget is just immediately accepted, and I just have to lump it. I just have to sit there and do the best with what I'm given. So the reason for what we're doing, we are doing and using the GYRFM Jack of Diamonds. We've done a video on this on the channel, basically showcasing this amazing tactic from Gareth. So if we pick our best 11, oh yeah, I've got loads of injuries as well. Which is, how many injuries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 injuries to the starting or first team squad, shall we say. So this is our best 11. This is the best 11 players I can field. And as I'm sure you will be aware, there are some names in here of players who are quite old. 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 is in goal. Now, I despise 𝘼𝙗𝙪. When I worked at Rovers, Bristol Rovers, that is, he was there on loan, as you can see here, 17 games. Shocking. Really, really bad goalkeeper for Bristol Rovers. So would look at replacing him very, very quickly. Then we got Byrne, Jagielka, Davis, and Forsyth as the defensive line. It's old. We've already seen Jagielka's 38. Curtis Davis is 36. So that he's got 9 pace. Jagielka's got 9 pace. What could go wrong? This is potentially my best player, in my opinion, Christian Bilek, who Derby County signed a few years ago from Charlton. Sorry, no, he was on loan at Charlton. Where did they sign him from? Arsenal. It looks like a good little player. As I said, is probably the best player that I've got right now. 23 years of age, has good potential, 4.5-star potential. He's a consistent performer, but he doesn't like big matches, so that's going to be interesting. He's injured. He's out for 4 to 5 months. He's damaged his cruciate. So my best player is injured. My 2 centre backs are 36 and 38 years respectively. What could go wrong? I'm very intrigued to see what Max Bird turns out like. I think he could be a very, very good player for us. Consistent again, good current ability, and the potential to get even better. He's only 20 years of age, so fingers crossed we can keep hold of him, but you never know in this particular save. Alongside him, we got Jason Knight in the midfield. He's a bit more of an attacking player. Can play as a ball-winning midfielder or a box-to-box. He can kind of do a bit of everything, really. Again, we kind of try and keep hold of him with the 5-star potential that he's got. Then the main man in the shadow striker position is Tom Lawrence, obviously the Welsh international. I'm going to be relying on him a lot to unlock teams basically and create opportunities for us. Then up front we have Colin Kazim-Richards, who's been banging about for years. He's 34. I'm hoping he knows where the back of the net is, but if we look at his career, he's been playing in the Liga MX in Mexico, and he's kind of been doing a goal every 3 games. He's not played at a level that I would class as decent since he was at Celtic, and this is no offense to Corinthians and stuff, because Corinthians are a good team in the top flight of Brazilian football, but yeah, not played in England since he was on loan at Blackburn in 2012-2013, where he scored 3 in 28. So he's not exactly setting the world alight in terms of goal scoring. He is up front with former Bristol City player Sam Baldock, who is 32. His contract's running out in December. It's rough out here, guys. This team is not it at all. We've got a couple of players who are obviously have high potential. We've got Buchanan here, this left back, Lee Buchanan. He's injured as well. He's got a thigh strain. It's only a minor one, so he should be back and battling it out with Forsyth for that left back spot. Graham Shinney is also another Gary Shinney. Graham Gary Shinney. There we go. He's another player who could be a regular feature for us, and then obviously the main man who I'm hoping will attract a lot of attention. Maybe in a year or two, and probably bail us out of a lot of this financial woe, is 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. I'm really hoping that he can get picked up by somebody, anybody. If they offer like 10 mil plus, I'm in. I am in. This team right now is bad. And then we go into the finances and sort of look at why. So they've got this company voluntary agreement there. And we've got a net debt of 20 million. We're struggling a bit, and then obviously we can't sign anybody. We're under a transfer embargo. We can't even fill these staff slots, which is something that I usually do in these rebuilds. One of the first things I do is sit down and I sort out the staff. I can't do that because we're not allowed to hire anybody, so there's only going to be myself, the assistant manager, and 2 coaches on the training pitch, rather than the 9 of us. Derby, man, you're in a mess. So obviously we're not going to be able to sign anybody. What we're going to do, guys, head down, first season, try and swallow those 12 points. That is my main goal. Try and swallow those 12 points and somehow not get relegated. Be back in a sec. Okay then, guys, so we are back at the end of the first season, and as you can see, we finished very, very high up the table in 14th, doing very, very well, to be perfectly honest. If we take a look at our record, 46 games played, 18 wins, 15 draws, 13 losses. We scored 89 goals, which is mad. We scored the same amount of goals as Bournemouth, who went up top, but we conceded 75, which is 40 more than them, which is mad. So we finished on 57 points, which I'm actually really, really happy with. 57 points. If you add the 12 that we were deducted, we got up to 69 points, which would have put us just outside of playoff contention, to be honest. It would have put us 8th above Hull, which, considering the squad that we've got, I'm actually really, really happy with. As I said, the main objective of this was to swallow the 12 and stay up, which we have done. Huddersfield, Blackpool, Coventry go down. Bournemouth, Sheffield United and Fulham get promoted. Fulham getting promoted out of the playoffs. Fair play to them after finishing 3rd. Doesn't always work that way. Ultimately though, guys, in terms of all competitions, knocked out in the 4th round of the FA Cup by Bournemouth, knocked out in the 2nd round of the Carabao by Middlesbrough, but I don't care. We managed to stay up. That is the main thing for me. Sam Baldock was the top goal scorer for us in the league. In terms of transfers, I'll be completely honest with you guys, I cannot remember what happened. I recall I filmed the stuff for this ages ago, much earlier this week, so I can't really remember what happened. In terms of transfers out, we've had a couple more go. Bobby Duncan you'd already seen. Dylan Williams has gone to Norwich, Liam Thompson's gone, and then the big one, 𝘼𝙗𝙗 has gone for an initial 9.25 million. He's gone to Spurs. He's now listed for loan. He's just sat in there under 23, so it'd be interesting to see how he does get on and if he does anything. He's made one appearance for them in the Premier League, which is not too bad. Hold on, it says league stats down. Are they from me? They could be from me. Yeah, one substitute appearance for Spurs in the league. And then for me, 14 starts, 18 substitute appearances, 2 goals, 4 assists. 9 million was massive, to be honest, because we have now, I believe, sorted our debt problem. We've still got this company voluntary agreement to settle a proportion of debt with creditors rather than repaying the full amount. Okay, that's been done. It's ongoing until 2031. We won't be going on that long in this rebuild, but we no longer have debt, which does mean I've got some money. I've got 7.3 million, which is ludicrous for a team this sort of level, having just come out of administration. So I have 7 million in the championship. Seems like a lot. I don't know if it is. Not had any other saves in the championship so far this year. So if it is a lot, let me know down in the comments. If you've done a save in the championship and you're like, Steve, I break off my right arm for 7 million in the championship, let me know, because I'm very, very intrigued. We just did all right, you know. We had a nice little run, losing a couple games here and there, but we had a little bit of a rough patch in November. But you know, our squad's old. You know, our squad's so old. I just don't know what to do. This was the team on the last day of the season. There's not really much to say. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩 is leaving us as well. I didn't want to renew his contract, so he's also Santos Laguna. Some of these guys were on big money, so as you can see, if we sort it by wage, Tom Lawrence on 30k with his contract expiring. I don't know whether I'm going to renew that. I don't know if I can afford 30k on one player. Christian Bielik is very, very good, so 20k for him is fine. 20k for David Marshall, his contract's expiring. I'm not renewing it. Get out. I'm not happy with 𝘼𝙗𝙗 either as a goalkeeper. I made my thoughts clear on him previously at the start of the video, so with his contract expiring, not really sure what I'm going to do with him. 𝘼𝙗𝙗, this guy actually did quite well for us if we take a look at his stats. 18 goals in all competitions, 8 assists. Considering we're not playing any wide players, he would have been playing up front. He's got the 4.5 star potential. I probably will end up keeping him. I'm trying to do some deals for some of the others as well, but another 12k for 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩 is going out the door a week. So hopefully going into season 2, I can bring in some players, I can strengthen this team, and we can have a real red hot crack at getting up into the Premier League in season number 2. I'll be back once I've done my transfers in just a few seconds, guys. Right then, guys, here we are. We have the transfer update. We've got 24k's worth of players outgoing, which is mainly all Jack Stratton going to Blackburn. As I mentioned, 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙩 has left us. On the other side of the column, though, we've made some additions, and they're all free transfers for the most part. Dylan Levitt comes in from Manchester United. I think is a ball mover in that central midfielder role. Obviously, we're playing sort of 4 very compact, 1 DM, 2 central midfielders and a cam. The fact that he can kind of play all 3 of those is quite nice for me. The fact that he can pass the ball, get us moving, good tackling. He's coming on 15k a week, but I think you can say he's a vast improvement for what we have had in that position. So I'm looking for him to be a bit more leggy and be able to get up and down the field a little bit more, being a little bit younger. We've also brought in Brooklyn Lyons Foster from Spurs. He was released by Spurs just as a bit of a cover option, to be honest. He's a bit more of an attacking player that I would like than I would like in that left back spot, but he's nice and physical. He can run. He can come in on quite a cheap wage, to be honest. He's not as good as some of the other options that we've got in that position, but I think ultimately another good younger option that we could in theory sell for a bit more money. He's valued at 90 to 650k and we picked him up for free. How much is Levitt rated at? 2 to 5.8 for a player who was free. Yes, good. More of this. We also signed Lewis Baker from Chelsea. Now, another central midfielder to play in there. His asking price and guide value is a lot lower, But what I do like about Lewis is the fact that he can take set pieces. And I know this is going to sound ridiculous. We all know how overpowered near post corners are right now, and he can take corners. He's got 16 for corners. He's got 17 for penalty taking, so he's going to be designated corner taker, penalty taker, and he's good on both feet. So what more do I need from someone who can play two of the positions out of my, or three of the four positions out of my midfield that I'd be looking to play him in? He can do it. He can be creative. He can open up the play. That's kind of what I thought. We also signed Ben Woodburn. He was released by Liverpool. Again, he can play in that central attacking midfield role. He can also play up front, and he can also play in central midfield if I have to. I'm looking for him to be much more of an attacking presence. So central attacking midfield, or to potentially play up front. He came in from Liverpool. What's he valued at now? Just out of curiosity, 11 to 12 million. Someone who was free. This is what we need. This is how we need money. And then we paid some money. I needed a striker, so we paid some money to get Dane Scarlett in on loan. He's still young at this point in the save, 18 years of age, but he's the best striker we got. So no pressure on an 18-year-old to lead the line in the Championship for a team that are hypothetically trying to get promoted. He's only had 4 starts or 4 appearances for Spurs, scoring 1 goal. Hopefully he can have a breakout year for us in the Championship. In terms of everything though, competitions wise, we are much the same. We're staying in the same tactic. In terms of the season preview though, much more favoured this time around. We are 12th we're predicted 12th in the table, 33 to 1, but as you can see, the teams ranging from Swansea in 9th all the way down to Preston in 16th are all 33 to 1. Just shows how wide open the Championship can be. Obviously Brighton massive favourites at 9 to 2 on. Brighton probably shouldn't have been relegated from the Premier League, but this is FM. So we've got some stuff to do. We're not favoured. I don't know. This could be an interesting year. I'd like to think we can do well. Obviously, in terms of the finances and stuff, now we've had the money come in for Sibley. Obviously, we've touched on this. The debt is fine, and we are paying the voluntary agreement back. In terms of the tactic and the squad, though, this is the best 11 without restriction. There it is. I did keep 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 on for another year. I tried to find another goalkeeper. I can't afford one. So this is where we're at right now. Burn Jagielka. Jagielka's still here. Don't ask. Just don't. I needed a defender. Nobody wanted to come here. He's 39. He's now got 6 paces. Pace has gone back 3 in 1 year. Yeah, I don't know. We've got Bielik playing as a centre-back. He can also play there. Buchanan, Bird, Levitt, Shinnie, Lawrence, Josbiak, and Woodburn is the strike force. I mean, we've got a bit more depth. Obviously, Forsyth, Scarlett, Knight, Baldock, Lyons Foster, Lewis Baker. I'm feeling much better about the squad right now. Obviously, I've brought in some of the youth players as well. This guy here, Lawrence Jackson, for a 16-year-old, actually looks relatively decent. So he's up in the starting 11, well, starting squad, as is Jonathan Morrison here, another sort of 5-star potential player just to have in and around the first team squad. And if things happen, then they happen. If they don't, then they don't. Let's start season 2. 33 to 1 to win the league. Do you reckon we could? So I asked the question, do you reckon we could? And the answer ultimately was no, we couldn't. We didn't win the league. Ipswich won the league, having been promoted from League One with 92 points. Crystal Palace go up second, and we finished in 4th, which is much higher than we were anticipated to finish, and ultimately we won the playoffs, guys, which is mad considering, remember, I just plug stuff in and I just go on holiday for the whole season. So, yeah, finished 4th, won the playoffs. I'm very surprised by Brighton not doing very, very well. I think they should be doing a lot better, especially having come down from the Premier League, and Ipswich winning the league is just mad. So let's have a look at the schedule and see what actually happened. So we had a little bit of a wobbly here. Losing games to West Brom, Peterborough and Blackburn in the league. Not great, but other than that, guys, relatively consistent throughout the season. 3 back-to-back losses here. You know, considering one of them's against Liverpool in the FA Cup, I'm not too worried about it. Forest and Ipswich in the league. I didn't think Ipswich would be a dominant force, but it turns out they are. Another 3 back-to-back losses here, including a 4-7 against, or 7-4 against Brighton at the Amex, which this guy scored 5. 𝘼𝙗𝙗. He looks good, doesn't he? Probably too good to be playing in the championship. So then we get into the playoff semis and we draw the game away at Stoke 2-2. Dane Scarlett doing the business there for us there. Sam Surridge trying his best to keep Stoke in it. And then in the game at Pride Park, we kind of ran out comfortable winners, 4-1 in the end. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪 scoring a pen in the 91st minute. Why not? We then took on Burnley, obviously recently relegated Burnley in the playoff final, and we got the job done. We win 3-2 in extra time. Tom Lawrence coming up trumps. Josh Brownhill, former Bristol City, and Jed Wallace scoring the goals for Burnley. But we win at Wembley, meaning we go into the Premier League for season number 3. But I do have something to say. We've got no money. This is my budget. And more going into the Spurs second season in the championship. Obviously, the debt and the loan is being repaid. We're not paying this back any quicker. But in terms of the overall financial summary of the club, we should get some nice big bump from TV money at some point. So I'm hoping this picks up and maybe we can sign some people in the January. I don't know. To be honest, it might be too late by then. We also completed another free transfer. 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙗 comes in from Liverpool on a free transfer, and he went straight back out on loan. I just wanted to get him game time, and I didn't think he was just good enough yet for our first team. Maybe he can take over from 40-year-old 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙗. He went out on loan to Forest Green and played a decent amount of games, so I was actually quite happy with that. And again, he's valued at a nice fee as well. So that is the end of season 2. In terms of the other competitions, knocked out in the 5th round of the FA Cup by Liverpool, knocked out in the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup by Manchester City, dispatched by Premier League opposition all the way around. Dane Scarlett, top goal scorer for us in the championship, 28 goals for the youngster. He's now valued at 30.5 to 44.5 million. We will not be getting him, obviously. Did very, very well for us in terms of his entire career with Derby County. 36 in 48 with 7 assists is brilliant for a youngster. I think he could go on to be a big talent, but unfortunately we're going to try and get him back. Tottenham wanted too much money. The loan deal was going to cost me around 6 million, which is just not it for me, unfortunately. So unfortunately for him, he's going to have to go and sit back in their in Tottenham's under 23s. So I'm happy that we're in the Premier League, but I think it could be short-lived. I'm going to try and make some transfers. I'm going to try and make some moves. I'll be back for the start of season 3 in just a second. Right then, guys, we are back for the start of season 3. It's ready to see us take on the Premier League, and I've made 3 sign-ins. They're all on loan because I've got no money. They're all free loans, as in I'm only paying their salaries or portions of their salary. I'm not paying any money for them. So we had such a good, successful season with Scarlett. We went back to Spurs and said, can we have Troy Parrott on loan? They said yes. So Troy Parrott comes in to potentially lead our line. Obviously, Irish international. Hoping he can do all right for us. Looks very well-rounded. Probably a little bit more well-rounded than Scarlett, but hopefully he can have a good year for us in the Premier League. We also signed 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙗 from Man City on loan. We needed a defender. I couldn't do 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪𝙗 for another year. He's too old. We went out and signed this guy. He's got good tackling, good passing, good marking, good heading, 16 positioning. He's pretty darn tall as well, so I'm hoping he can maybe score a couple corners for us. And hopefully he could be a decent option. Man City were happy to let him go for us, just paying his wages. And then Bright Ari Mb comes in as another centre-back on loan from Bayern. Again, they were just happy for us to pay his wages, which is 5.25k, which for a Premier League team is not too bad. He's left-footed as well. I think he can give us a little bit more openness on that side and being able to play our way out a little bit more from the back if we have to. 3 players have left. No one that you're talking about, to be perfectly honest. We did sell Graham Shinney. He is now a player for St Johnstone. He wanted to leave. I didn't think he was Premier League ready. We sold him for 2.3 million, and I'm quite happy with that, to be honest. He can go back to Scotland and we get a little bit more transfer money in, and that's it. That's all the business we've done. So in terms of our starting 11 and where we sort of sit, guys, without restriction, this is our best 11. So Roos in goal, Byrne, Bilek, Eddie Mb, Buchanan, Bird, Levitt, Baker, Knight, Woodburn, and 𝘼𝙗𝙗𝙪. Obviously, we do have depth still. We don't have Premier League depth. This is going to be a real test of this tactic, to be honest, guys, because if this tactic can drag this rag-ass team of Derby County players out of Premier League relegation scrap, then you need to go and download this tactic and use it right now. There's no point in me showing you finances, really. Obviously, we're in the three main competitions, the Premier League, the FA Cup, and the Carabao Cup. We start off against Leicester. Man City and Liverpool have won the two previously, if you were interested. According to the season preview then, guys, if you fancy a laugh, we are 1,000 to 1 to win the league. Obviously, we're not going to win the league. Who are we trying to kid here? We're not going to win the league, but we are predicted to finish stone dead last. And Man City have signed Haaland, I've just clocked. Okay, right. Okay, well, anything better, 17th or better, to be honest, is all I'm asking for. I'm not asking for anything mad. 17th or better, 1,000 to 1 odds. See you at the end of the season, guys. Fingers crossed for me. Guys, I am done. We have finished in 12th. We are not relegated. We finish in 12th. A relatively solid mid-table finish as well. If you look at things, we were closer to finishing in a European place than we were to being relegated, which is mad. Liverpool in the league with 98 points. It's not bad for some, is it? But we finish in 12th. As I said, we're on 46 points. The goal difference is a worry, minus 30. The games we lost bad. Let's just say that. The games we lost badly. But we did pick up 14 victories in the season. We beat Chelsea. We beat Manchester United at home as well, which are big results. But let's have a look at some of the bad ones, shall we? Liverpool beat us by 5. Man City beat us 2-0. Arsenal 3-0. Tottenham 4-1. Chelsea 6-0 at the Bridge. So as I said, some of the ones that we lost badly. Max Bird is third in terms of the assists in the league, which you love to see. But yeah, 12th. I'm buzzing. Palace, who came up with us, are relegated. Bournemouth relegated again. Leeds going down. Ipswich surviving. But as I said, we're 15 points clear of the relegation zone. And what's that? 4, 5, 6, 7 points away from Spurs. Brentford getting into the Europa League as well. I think we did all right, you know. I think we did all right. Let's have a look at some of the results, though. It's patchy, but you need to pick up your wins when you need to pick up your wins, don't you? So we start the season off with a victory against Leicester, which is massive. We kick off the season at Pride Park. We win 4-1. We beat Leeds as well, 3-2. Obviously, Leeds going down. Maybe this was the sign of things to come. We had a great pre-season, a great start to the season, and then it kind of got a bit ropey. Knocked out in the second round of the EFL Cup by Stoke, drew with Ipswich, then lost 3 on the spin to Spurs, Brentford, Man City. Considering they all finished inside the top 7, I'm not actually too worried about that in retrospect. Beat Southampton, lose to Everton, beat Bournemouth, lose to Fulham, get pumped by Wolves 5-1, beat Newcastle, lose to Villa, beat Palace, and then lose all the way through December in through Christmas. Losses to West Ham, Arsenal, Manchester United, the 6-0 to Chelsea, and a 2-1 to Liverpool. To be fair, we lost every game in December, but we played Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, and Liverpool. If I wasn't expected to just fight bravely against relegation this year in the club vision, which I forgot to show you, by the way, every year so far, you could see a sack in there. Into January, we lose to Leicester, then we beat Leeds for the second time of the season, and then it's losses again in the league, losing to Ipswich, Brentford, Spurs, Everton, Man City. Then towards the end of the season, we kind of tidied things up a little bit. We beat Fulham, Bournemouth, Newcastle. Draw with Wolves is not too bad. Beat Villa. Draw with West Ham. Lost to Arsenal. Beat Manchester United. Then got battered 5-0 by Liverpool. Then beat Chelsea, Southampton and Palace to round off the season. Amazing turnaround here. I didn't do anything. I just come in January to see if we could sign anyone on free transfers. We did make some business. I will show you that in a minute. And then it kind of just turned itself around, which is quite nice. We lost a lot of games though, and we lost a lot of games by quite heavy. If we take a look at our transfers, in January we went out, we got some money. The TV money did hit. It hit late, but the TV money hit. So in the January, we went out and bought some players. We brought in Cedric Ipri from Brighton. Another centre-back option. You guys will know who Cedric Ipri is. Former Wigan player, West Brom, Brighton. Solid. 194 centimetres tall. Good in the air. Exactly what we needed. We went out and signed a striker from AC Milan as well. Frank 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪, I believe. I don't know that for certain. Youngster, well, relative youngster, 24 years of age. Good jumping reach again. He's fast. He can put the ball in the back of the net. Brought him in and he scored 5 goals in 10 games in the Premier League, which for me, for someone coming in January, good return. Very, very happy with his return. Mattia Caldara, another one who was transfer listed from AC Milan, another centre-back who comes in, a bit more of a ball player than Ipri. Kipri's much more of a win it in the air kind of guy, and then Caldara can pass it off. We also signed Jack Robinson from Sheffield United. They are down in the Championship, a little bit more of a bolstering option who can play centre-back or left-back. Seems very well-rounded, but not really very well thought after in terms of ability, 2.5-star ability, but he's 30, he can definitely help us there. We also signed another guy from AC Milan. I kind of went over to AC Milan and saw that loads of their players were transfer listed. So we got in this guy as well, Ballo Torre, to play as a starting choice left back for us. He's got a bit of pace. He can cross the ball. It's kind of what I'm looking for. A bit more dynamic on that left back role. And then we went out and signed another fullback as well. And this guy, Renzo Saravia, can play on the right hand side and do much the same really. Can get up and down the field and can also cross and pass and stuff. It's kind of what you need a little bit more in your fullbacks when you get a little bit higher up the table. So we went out and signed him in January as well. Cometio goes out on loan to Portsmouth again. He's actually developing all right, and as you can see, is valued at £13 million now. He's now pledged his allegiance to France. I can't remember where he was previously, but he's looking like a player who could soon get into our starting 11. So we survived. In terms of the other competitions, you saw us get knocked out by Stoke City and knocked out by Wolves in the respective competitions. Kamil Jozwiak was our top goal scorer, 17 goals in the Premier League. Fair play, mate. Stepping up and taking the reins. Considering he's only got 9 finishing, happy. In terms of the club vision, though, they're giving me a B+, because they said that they're happy with my overall leadership of the team. They wanted us to survive and fight bravely against relegation. We did that. But you get in the Premier League, guys, and you get racks. I've got 50 million now to spend as Derby County manager to try and improve this team, and I will try to spend every penny of it. Obviously, our reputation isn't very good, but we are a Premier League team, so fingers crossed we can make some transfers. It's going to be season number 4, guys. I'll be back in a sec. Okay, so we have made signings, but I did the business so early it counted as last season. So here's some of the other stuff that we did. Billy Cometio's gone out on loan. You kind of saw that one last season. A couple of the other bits and loans and stuff as well. We sold Ben Woodburn to Wolves for 4.8 million. He was getting a bit frustrated that he wasn't playing as much in the Premier League, so we cashed him out and made a little bit of money. But this is our transfer business. Now, obviously, you guys saw down to Saravia last season in the January spending. We've signed Ryan Giles from Wolves, 3.8 million. Again, I just want options. And people who can play in different places. He was transfer listed. I thought he was young. I thought he could be worth a little bit of money in the future. He's got good pace, so I thought he could be a different option for us up and down that left-hand side. Namdi Collins, we also signed him on loan from Bayern. We let one loanee go back to Bayern, and then we pulled in another one. I think he makes us a little bit better. He's good on both feet, can play his way out of trouble, can pass the ball, start attacks from the back. That sort of thing. Thought he was quite a good pickup. We went and signed the Partizan Belgrade goalkeeper Alexander Popovic, Serbian goalkeeper as well. Only one cap, but Serbian goalkeeper. I noticed this guy on my Red Star save, so I thought I wanted to give him a go. I tried to sign a guy from Dinamo Zagreb as well, and he wasn't having it. I think he's good at one-on-ones. He's got good aerial reach. He's tall. He can throw the ball. In terms of trying to get us playing again, this is kind of the sort of goalkeeper that I'm looking at. He's not the best in terms of his physicals. He's got balanced personality. He's consistently likes big games, though, because he's going to have to be consistent because he's going to face a lot of shots this year. Jose Juan Maquis, we signed this guy a lot last year, the Mexican international. He was at Watford. He was transfer listed by Watford, having come over via Chivas. And I needed a striker, so I went for him. He cost me 17 17 million. Scored 13 in 46 in the Championship last year, which actually isn't great. I'm hoping he can kind of make the step up in the Premier League, having signed for Watford in the Premier League, and he only scored 1 goal in 15 appearances, which is a big yikes. He's got all the attributes that he needs, though. He's got good dribbling, good first touch, great finishing, good anticipation, decent composure, good determination. I think he could be our top goal scorer this year playing up front. Annoyingly, right, we signed this guy, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪 from a team in Norway. He's a fantastic central attacking midfielder, very, very creative, great determination, great agility. I signed him and I didn't realize that I can't get him a work permit. He's not played enough football. I signed him for 3.9 million, which, considering we have 50, I'm not actually too bummed out about. But we signed him and he's not played enough football, apparently, to warrant getting a work permit. So we're trying to loan him out. But ultimately, I think he could be a fantastic player for us. So I'm hoping I can get a work permit for him by the end of the year. And maybe we could use him next season and we'll go from there. If he could get capped by Norway, that would be brilliant. That would make my life so much easier. And we signed this guy as well, 𝘼𝙗𝙤𝙪𝙩 from Brighton. I think he can be a very, very good player. Natural fitness is really high. Stamina is really high. I'm kind of looking at him to be like my Conte box-to-box sort of guy. Ecuadorian international, obviously. I've seen this guy turn into an absolute monster. And I'm hoping he can have that sort of breakout year for us in the Premier League, having signed from Championship Brighton, unless they got promoted again. They did get promoted again, and Andrea Pirlo is the Brighton manager, which is just mad. In terms of the club vision, though, guys, I keep forgetting to show you this. This season, they want me to avoid relegation, reach the 4th in the Premier League, reach the 4th round of the FA Cup, and reach the 3rd round of the Carabao Cup. I've still got a little bit of money to spend. I don't know what else we can do, to be honest, guys. I don't know how we can strengthen this team, because nobody wants to come here. In terms of the Premier League, let's have a look at the season preview. Having finished higher up last season, they still predict us to get relegated, 800 to 1 to win the league, but they do predict us to go down. 18th, 17th or better, I guess, is the target again, guys. I'll be back at the end of the season. Okay, guys, we're back. It is the final season, and the reason I say this is the final season, I can't do this anymore. Derby is such a tough club, so I welcome this challenge to absolutely anybody out there. I think ultimately we could push on. It's just so difficult to gain places in the Premier League, guys. 47 points. Last season we finished on 46. So we spent almost 50 million and got 1 point more, which I just don't think is worth it. Liverpool finishing in 8th, but they win the Champions League, don't they? Of course they bloody do. West Brom, Ipswich and Brentford go down. We finish in 13th. It's 1 position worse than last year. We're still shipping goals. 79 goals conceded, 9 against Liverpool, 9 against United, 8 against Leicester and Newcastle. Like, I can't progress this anymore. I just tried so hard, and I tried to make signings and I tried to make stuff happen, and it's just not happened, unfortunately. So this is where I'm unfortunately going to leave the Derby dream. Tom Lawrence has gone as well. Jack Robinson also gone. In terms of some of the other transfers, we've not signed anybody in the January. We've got money. We've got 74 million. It's that Premier League money hitting very different. I just don't think it's worth me spending the time doing it, to be honest. I don't see Derby moving from that mid-table Premier League spot. They're in the Premier League. They're comfortable. In terms of avoiding Man City, 101 points, Jesus. In terms of avoiding relegation, they're almost 20 points clear of the relegation zone. Again, there's not really much. I don't know what else I can do. I don't know what else I can say. We started the season pretty well. We beat Wolves, drew with Man City, beat Oldham. Losses started to come thick and fast. We lost a lot on the spin again in December. Just don't have the squad depth, really. Norwich, Liverpool, Leicester, West Ham, all losses before beating Villa, drawing with Southampton and drawing with Wolves. Again, rather ropey. FA Cup 3rd round. We had a replay against Cheltenham, which we ultimately won, but still it's an extra game. that we didn't really need. A couple victories on the spin here against lower ranked opposition, Ipswich, Brentford and Brighton, before quite a barnstorming game against Manchester United. Mason Greenwood taught us how to put the ball in the back of the net, which is nice of him. Very generous lad. FA Cup 5th round, 7-1 at the Etihad, and we scored in the 94th minute. Moving on, beat West Brom, lost to Arsenal, losses all over the place towards the end of the season. Liverpool 6-2 is bad, and I just don't know what else I can do. I could spend this money, and we'll probably go up like a position or two. But there's no way we're winning the Premier League. We got back into the Premier League in 3 seasons, or in 2 seasons, and we're comfortably a Premier League side. 74 million you'd like to think would be a good amount to deal with, but that goal difference, I just can't stop us shipping goals, which is unfortunate, because given the best, let me do a best 11 pick. This is the best 11 pick right now. Popovic, Brown, Kipri, Caldara, Bolo Torre, Bellic, Knight, Casido, Holm, who I still haven't been able to get a bloody work permit for. Despite him scoring a goal and being capped by Norway at full international level, I still cannot find him a work permit, which is baffling. And then Josviak and Machis up top, who have got a good relationship, but I just finding it so difficult, guys. I am unfortunately gonna throw in the towel there, and also set the gauntlet down to you guys. Do you reckon you can do better inside 4 seasons with Derby County? We survived the administration, we righted the ship, we got them back into the Premier League inside 2 years, and then we definitely consolidated into the Premier League. I think we're a solid Premier League side now. Solid, but unspectacular. But that's where I'm going to leave things for today, guys. If you have enjoyed this rebuild of Derby County, it wasn't as successful as I wanted it to be, but I was finding it really draining trying to find the players. I was spending like 2-3 hours on each transfer window, and I just couldn't get the job done to improve us anymore. If you have enjoyed it though, drop a like on the video down below, subscribe to the channel if you are new around here, and ring that bell so you're told each and every time that we upload a video. And as well, guys, let me know down in the comments who you would like to see me rebuild next. I'm happy to do some of the other ones in the lower leagues. I think they could be a little bit of an interesting one. Some of the bigger boys who are in League One, your Portsmouths, your Wigans, your Sunderland, your Boltons, some of those guys I'd happily do, but please do let me know who you would like to see me rebuild next. But until next time, guys, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. I'll see you on another one very soon.